The world's most vital energy artery has just flatlined, and the consequences are about to hit your doorstep. While the headlines are distracted by regional skirmishes, a structural collapse is unfolding in the Persian Gulf that could rewrite the rules of the global economy. We are looking at a tactical evolution in maritime warfare that has effectively paralyzed the Strait of Hormuz, the single most important choke point on the planet. For decades, the global market relied on the assumption that the seas were a permanent, open highway. That assumption has just been shattered. Recently, the maritime world was rocked by direct kinetic actions against merchant vessels. We aren't just talking about threats, we are talking about impact. Unmanned surface vessels, high-tech sea drones, have successfully struck two major tankers anchored off the coasts of Kuwait and Iraq. One was United States-owned. The other was Greek. This wasn't a one-off incident, as it follows a separate, devastating attack on a Thai bulk carrier. What makes this terrifying isn't just the damage to the ships, but the strategy behind it. This is the Black Sea Playbook, being exported to the Middle East. We saw these explosive-laden naval drones used by Ukraine and Houthi forces, and now they have reached the heart of the global oil trade. The result: total paralysis. Right now, there is effectively zero oil moving through the Strait of Hormuz. To put that into perspective, this corridor normally sees an average of 138 ships per day. Today, those vessels are locked in place, terrified to move. The market is desperately clinging to the hope that military escorts will swoop in and save the day. But here's the cold, hard truth. The cavalry isn't coming. At least, not in the way you think. The United States military is currently stretched thin, prioritizing offensive operations. They simply lack the surface and air resources to run a massive, 24/7 defensive convoy operation for thousands of commercial ships. Even if they tried, the logistics are a nightmare. Experts calculate that a naval escort system would cap tanker transits at less than 10% of their normal volume. Furthermore, there is a glaring, unanswered question. Who gets to go first? If there are only enough warships to protect a handful of tankers, how do the United States and Europe decide which company's oil gets through and which stays stuck in the crosshairs? This disruption is now testing the absolute limits of global reserves. The International Energy Agency is coordinating a massive draw of 400 million barrels of oil from strategic reserves, with 172 million barrels coming from the United States alone. On paper, that sounds like a lot. In reality, it is a drop in the bucket. The Strait of Hormuz processes roughly 20 million barrels of oil per day. If that strait stays closed for just 1 month, we face a 600 million barrel deficit. You can't solve a structural arterial blockage with a short-term liquidity injection. Once those finite stockpiles are drained, they are gone. The financial markets are already feeling the whiplash. In early March, very large crude carrier stocks, the massive ships that move the world's oil, hit multi-decade highs. Investors thought they were betting on a sure thing. They were wrong. We have seen a sharp, painful correction. Frontline has dropped 15%, Oceani's 13%, DHT 9%, and International Seaways 8%. The narrative of infinite growth for tankers is dead. Why? Because the biggest players are now actively avoiding high-risk loading ports. They would rather have their ships sit idle than see them sunk. In a desperate bid to calm the public, the United States administration is considering a 30-day waiver of the Jones Act. This would allow cheaper foreign tankers to transport oil, liquefied natural gas, and fertilizer between United States ports. While policymakers claim this will lower fuel prices, the move smells of opportunistic lobbying. Oil and fertilizer giants are pushing for this to maximize their own profit margins on domestic routes under the guise of an emergency. Let's be rigorous in our evaluation. Waiving the Jones Act is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. It might provide a marginal relief of a few cents at the pump, but it completely misidentifies the root cause. The $1.40 per gallon spike in diesel isn't being caused by domestic shipping regulations. It's being driven by the massive macro supply shock in the Persian Gulf. Until the transit paralysis in the Middle East is resolved, domestic policy tweaks are just noise. We are witnessing the fragility of the modern world in real time, and the bill is about to come due. Subscribe for more content like this.